it feels passionately for, and that's exactly what is happening, but the results are different this time around.
Absolutely. This time, late last night, as we had reported on Wion, Section 144 has been imposed across the city for 3 days to prevent any form of protest till midnight 21st of December. But several agitations had been planned by at least 20 to 30 different groups against the Citizenship Amendment Act. And these groups went ahead with the protest. They staged peaceful demonstrations outside the town hall in Bengaluru, and most of them were detained. It included noted historian like Ramachandra Guha and several other names. They were sitting there quietly, and they said that they will not be shouting any slogans. But the police had the orders to ensure that no groups more than 4 in number assemble, as they wanted to maintain the peace of the city. Interestingly, the protest that is in favor of the Citizenship Amendment Act, the demonstration rather, has been scheduled for the 22nd of December, which is a day after the Section 144 has been lifted. So a massive demonstration is expected in favor of the act as well. But today, protesters went ahead anyway. They have been detained for now, and they have claimed that they will continue to agitate. Also, a PIL has been filed in the Karnataka High Court, where they have challenged as to how Section 144 can be imposed when the demonstrations have been peaceful. This is an infringement of their right to free speech, is what the petitioners have gone on to state. The hearing has been slated for tomorrow, Krishna.
Nishita Virendra joining us with that live update straight from Bengaluru. Nishita, I also wanted to ask you, these visuals of Ramachandra Guha getting arrested are quite dramatic. Help us understand what exactly went on in that instance, and more importantly, have there been other instances like these in Bengaluru?
Oh, there have been many since this morning. 11 a.m. was supposed to be the time at which the protesters were supposed to gather at town hall in Bengaluru, and because the police did not give them permission, as Section 144 has been imposed, they decided to defy Section 144 because they felt that it is a right for peaceful assembly that they have under the Constitution of India, and forcefully imposing Section 144 when there have been no instances of violent protests in the city so far is an infringement of their right to free speech, and hence they gathered, which included noted environmentalist Leo Saldana. You had historian Ramachandra Guha. You also had senior advocates like B.T. Venkatesh who had gathered, and they spoke in favor of the protesters gathering, as it is healthy for a democracy to do so, is what they said. But the police immediately detained Ramachandra Guha. They detained Abdul Razak, who has appeared on our panel multiple times as well. Several other activists, civic activists who had gathered, they knew that they are courting arrest by appearing for these protests. But nonetheless, they decided to be part of it, and they are saying that they will continue to hold peaceful agitations. In fact, one of the protesters was holding a bag of red roses, and every time the police came charging with a lathi at him, he offered a rose to them, and he said, "No lathi, sir, only roses. We only want peace. We only want to hold a peaceful protest." So there is an obvious clash because the police have taken the other violent protests in other parts of the country into account while imposing the Section 144 in Bengaluru. But protesters here in the city say that Bengaluru has never had a history of violent protests, especially not with the Citizenship Amendment Act, because they do not want to dilute the agitation or the issue. And there was absolutely no reason for the police to impose Section 144 for these 3 days, especially when there is a pro-CAA demonstration being scheduled for December 22nd.
Nishita Virendra joining us with that live update straight from Bengaluru. Thank you, Nishita, for bringing us the latest from the ground.